Hello, everyone. How's it going? This is immigration attorney Moumita. I'm coming to you live to talk to you about immigration and to see what may be on your mind today. It is a cloudy, rainy day here in New York, and I'm here at home to answer your questions about your case, about immigration in general, and any concerns that you might have. If you do not know my name is Moumita Rahman. I am an immigration attorney, and I have been an immigration attorney for the past 12 years, and it's my pleasure to do the work that I do because I love immigration law and I think that immigrants make America great already. And if you would like an evaluation with my office, please give us a call at 212-248-7907, especially if you hear me talk about something that pertains to your case and that you think that I can help you with. Give us a call. Let's find out what we can do for you if we can help, okay? All right, the topic that I wanted to start off today's live with is, can you get a green card if you have a common law marriage? Can you get a green card through VAWA, get your work permit, get your travel documents if you are an undocumented immigrant who is not legally married in the state that you live, but you have been living with your partner, you call each other husband and wife, and everyone knows you to be a married couple. Now, here's the thing. In immigration law and in American law in general, there is something called a common law marriage. A common law marriage is essentially when a couple holds themselves out to be a married couple, even though they are not legally married, and they're recognized in that state's law as a legally married couple, notwithstanding the fact that they never went to the courthouse, notwithstanding the fact that they never actually applied for a marriage license. If you live in a common law state and you're living there with your, you've been living in the same house with your partner, you guys have kids together, maybe you even file taxes together, you may be recognized as husband and wife, or husband, wife, whatever it is, for the purposes of immigration law. And this is really important because in a lot of relationships that are, some relationships that are not going your way. We have many situations where you've been with your partner, you've been providing for them, you've been taking care of them, you've been raising the kids, earning money, contributing to the household's expenses, but they still won't apply for your green card. They still won't help you with that, and you're stuck without a social security number, you're stuck without a work permit, and you're stuck without the hope of ever getting citizenship in the United States. So the bottom line is that if you live in a common law state and your spouse won't help you apply, this is a way for you to get your green card, for you to get your work permit, for you to get your travel documents, especially in some cases, so that you can actually travel out of the United States to go visit your family who you probably haven't seen for 10, 20, 30 years. And I can't tell you the list of common law states off the top of my head right now, but some of the common law states are Kansas, Iowa, Texas. I believe one of the Carolinas is also a common law state. I think Colorado and New Hampshire are also common law states. You have to check, give our office a call, and it's something that we can check for you. So if you never, your spouse refuses to get you married, because sometimes they say to you, well, if I get you a green card, you're gonna just leave me. You're not gonna care about me. You're just gonna leave me. You're just gonna use me. This is something that is commonly known as guilt and manipulation. And if this is in your situation and you never were able to get legally married, in your state, you might actually be considered married for the purpose of us helping you file for a green card. Give us a call, 212-248-7907, okay? So that's one thing that's sure. Now, what about the rest of you who are here who are married to someone who doesn't have their papers? What are your options for helping your spouse legalize? If you're the sort of person who actually is interested in helping your spouse get their green card, get a work permit, the number one thing that we need to look at is your spouse's manner of entry. So if your spouse did not enter legally, or sometimes they're previously deported, the equation becomes a little bit more complicated. So definitely we need to evaluate their case to see what their options are, okay? I don't want you to lose hope. Just because you have a previous deportation, just because you entered illegally does not mean that all hope is lost. There is actually hope. There may be ways forward that other attorneys may not have discussed with you. I commonly screen, whenever people call my office and they need assistance, we look for as many ways as possible to help our clients, okay? So give us a call, 212-248-7907. Okay, so right now I am live streaming on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. If you're not following me on YouTube, please do give me a follow. And again, anyone who needs to discuss their case, call us at 212-248-7907. Okay, we do have a consultation fee. I want to make it known that the consultation fee applies to every single person who comes through. It's $150, and it must be paid before we can evaluate your case. All right, so let's see. Diana, hi, how are you? Nice to see you, Diana. Can my husband get his green card if he had 2 deportations many years ago, no criminal records? From Kathy Lino. Kathy, thank you for your question. So if a person has 2 deportations, that could be a little bit more complicated, right? It could be a little bit more complicated, and your husband is definitely in a little bit more of a precarious situation. I would recommend that you give us a call, and your husband. I would love to look to see what he can do. Sometimes in some situations, we can look at some more of the more difficult types of cases that actually allow us a little bit more protection in immigration law, even if somebody has 2 deportations. Usually when somebody has 2 deportations, and that means usually that they got deported, had to leave, and they came back and got deported and came back. If that's the case, it's possible that your husband has something called a permanent bar. The permanent bar is the most severe immigration penalty that can be given, one of the most severe penalties that can be given, but there are actually, sometimes there are ways around it, okay? So Kathy, call us please, 212-248-7907. And so hello to all of my followers, my clients, my current clients, and I have sometimes my past clients watching. Hello to all of you. Thank you for joining me. I did biometrics and all, but no response. That's actually pretty common. Once you do your biometrics, you're not going to hear back for months and months and months from immigration. I need everybody to understand here that when you apply for any immigration benefit, these applications are going to be moving pretty slowly, and the government is like a black hole, and you're not going to be able to find an answer sometimes because they don't really tell you what's going on. And the best thing to do is wait, and also use the uscis.gov page for the case processing estimate timelines, okay? Thank you for the follow, Anwar. What does my husband need to file for my papers from Yuri? Yuri, I would say, first of all, I would love for you, Yuri, to give us a call, 212-248-7907, so that we can take a look at your case, so that we can evaluate what your options are, and that way it'll allow us to see how we have to file for your papers, because when you file for papers, there are multiple types of cases that can be done, okay? My case was expedited to Juarez in May, and how long for my interview from Luis Lopez? Luis Lopez, that really depends, actually. If you're waiting for your consular interview abroad, this is something, I know that I have a lot of my YouTube followers watching, and I know that you've seen my videos on how to expedite your case for NVC, but the other uncertain thing that's been happening is once your case does get expedited to NVC, then sometimes you have to do a second expedite request to get your interview. But if your case has actually made it to the consulate and they're going to give you an interview, usually you may get a notification within a couple of months. For Juarez, typically we're waiting about 2 to 3 years for an interview. If it's expedited, it's still going to take some time, but not that long. So long answer, I don't know for sure. Where am I located? I am located in New York City. I'm located in New York City, but I work with clients all over the United States, and I am so fortunate to be able to reach and touch so many people and help change their lives. It is my true passion, and it's the passion of my team. We are truly invested and motivated to help every single one of our clients. So no matter what state you are in, if you are in need of a case evaluation, of assistance, give us a call, 212-248-7907. The thing that is nearest and dearest to my heart is looking for options for persons who did not enter legally, or were told that there was nothing that could be done, because I have helped many people who were told by other attorneys that they had no hope, and we have been able to find a way for them. And every case is different. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to find ways for every single person, but we do our darndest, okay? All right, Renier, thank you. Renier Costa said that he'll call. Thank you so much, Renier. And David, hi. All right, Rainier saying, in case I no longer live with my American wife, she abandoned me more than 10 years ago. Is it still possible for you to get your green card, Rainier? Rainier, I would say if you are still legally married, no matter how long ago you and your U.S. citizen spouse separated or how long ago they abandoned you, as long as you meet the other requirements, which we will take a look at, and you are still legally married, we may still be able to help you get a green card, Rainier, as well as your work permit, okay? Work permit in about 10 months and the green card in about 2.5 years, okay? So give us a call, Rainier, 212-248-7907. Inglés con frases. Hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo está? May a sister file for me to get the approval? I have to go back to my country. Can I get my green card here from Jude Joseph? 4 persons. If you are the relative of a green card holder or you're not an immediate relative, if you're, let's say your brother or your sister wants to file for you, or you're an American citizen brother or sister and you want to file for your sibling who doesn't have any papers, their case is going to take a very, very long time. And the most important thing is that they may not be able to legalize here in the US. 9 times out of 10, if they're already here and they're waiting the 10+ years for their visa to become current, a brother or sister of a US citizen usually has to go outside the US. And be careful, if you've been in the US and you have a lot of unlawful presence, you may need a waiver in your case. So do things very, very carefully. Hello to my Instagram family. I'm going to answer some questions from Instagram right now. Let's see what we have. Elizabeth Silvar, thank you so much. Elizabeth saying, hope you have a great weekend. Thank you for all the knowledge that you always share with us. It's my pleasure, Elizabeth. Chantal, hello. My husband is 4 years younger than me. We got married last year and I have 2 kids with somebody else. Would this be a problem when applying for Maddie? Very good question. Maddie, and anyone else whose spouse is younger than them, older than them, or you were previously married, they were previously married, you have kids from before, they have kids from before, this is not a problem. At all times, though, we always have to prove that your current marriage is real, that you entered into your current marriage with your spouse with good intentions and it's not a fake marriage. Just because you have kids from a previous relationship does not make it impossible for your spouse to get papers. Okay, Maddie? So give us a call, 212-248-7907. And the fact that your husband is younger than you is not usually a problem either. 4 years is actually not a big difference. I've had spouses where the husband was at least 10, sometimes 15 years younger than the wife. Yes, of course, it's not the norm. However, it doesn't make your relationship or your marriage fake. Look, at all times, immigration has a job. We have a job. Immigration's job is always to check to make sure that the marriage is not a fraudulent marriage. And your job is always going to be to prove that it is a real marriage. So as long as your attorney is working with you, they know what to do, and they know how to prepare you with documents and for the interview, you're going to be just fine. And this is something that I do so much of. I have dealt with very complicated marriage cases, very unusual marriages where one person lives here, the other person lives there, marriages where there's a 20-year difference of age, marriages where there have been multiple marriages before. I have almost literally seen it all, and I've been on hundreds of these interviews. So, we know how to prepare for every scenario possible, almost every scenario possible so far. Let's see. Did you work in North Carolina from April Rosario? April Rosario, I do have clients in North Carolina. I have clients in South Carolina. Distance is not a problem for me as long as you have the type of case that we can help with. And April, I would really welcome your phone call, okay? 212-248-7907. I'm a permanent resident. Can I apply for my wife while she's living in India from Ansar? Ansar, yes, you can. If you're a U.S. citizen or a green card holder and your wife or husband is outside the U.S., you can still apply for them. That's not a problem. I would love to help. The process is called consular processing because your spouse, when they're outside the U.S., they have to get something called an immigrant visa, and the process takes about 1 year to 2 years. If you're a green card holder, it could take a little bit longer if your priority date becomes retrogressive. But give us a call, 212-248-7907. Why is asylum interview taking so long in the Chicago asylum office? Can we request an expedite date? Our case is very strong. From JD the Taker. If you've been waiting a long time for an asylum interview, the reason is that the asylum cases and the offices are kind of understaffed, and it's been a mess because there's so many people who are waiting for asylum interviews. And if you recall, when President Trump took office, there was something called last in, first out rule, and that created a further backlog of sorts. And you can request an expedite all you want, but the asylum office is not likely to give you an expedite unless you have a super strong emergency. They will not give you a expedite just because your case is strong. But good luck to you, JD the Taker. Can I expedite my citizenship? It's been 7 months from Ansar. Ansar, 7 months is actually kind of normal, but you have to check. If you have an emergency, you can definitely request, or a humanitarian need, you can definitely request an expedite, but you have to give immigration some proof. Expedites is not something that I help with, just FYI. How long does it take for a visa to get stamped after they take your passport, medical, and photos from future celebrity? I would say if you're going for your interview overseas, you normally would get your passport back if your case gets approved within 2 weeks. I'm a U.S. citizen, and I submitted the I-130 petition for my wife in January, and now it's under expedite review in Texas. That's great. Good for you. Congrats. Good afternoon, attorney. When is a VAWA case updated? Do you accompany us to the residency interview? From Tatiana Orozco Mari? Tatiana, yes, I do. So almost all of my cases, for the most part, I accompany the majority of my clients to their interviews for green cards. VAWA cases are something that are very important for me, and we do accompany a lot of our clients to the interview. I've actually had several of my VAWA clients get approved for a green card without an interview, which is amazing. But it depends on case-by-case basis. For almost all of my cases, my clients living in New York, we've actually had no interviews for the green cards for VAWA cases, but it depends on where you are, and it also depends on your case. If you have certain issues that they need to look at, then they'll probably request an interview. But if you're my client, you're never going to go alone. If you are my client, you will never go alone to such an important interview. When you are a VAWA client, you will not be alone. I am a firm believer in this. And in cases, obviously there's only one of me, and sometimes I'm not able to go to every interview. In those cases, we either reschedule so that I can attend, or a different lawyer who I hire or who I train or who works for me will go with you to your interview. Okay, Tatiana. So definitely do give us a call if you're in need for filing VAWA or for your case. I sent my I-589 in May, but I still haven't heard anything. How long will it take to get receipts from Sajan? Very good question, because we are also waiting very long for our asylum case receipts. We're waiting like 3-4 months now for an asylum receipt. So you might have to wait at least another month, Sajan, okay? Can my citizen brother file for me as an overstayer in order to get a green card and then withdraw that application in case I get denied from Izzy Brown? Izzy Brown, if you overstayed and your brother files for you, your application will most definitely get denied, okay? If you are a sibling of a U.S. citizen and you overstayed your visa, you are not eligible to file for a green card inside the U.S. Instead, you would have to leave to go out of the U.S. for your interview, and you may need a waiver for your unlawful presence if you overstayed. So your brother could withdraw, but it's going to, in your situation, I would say it's going to be a little bit more riskier for you, okay? And if you have a parent who's a U.S. citizen, you could file for a waiver before you leave the U.S., okay? Are you in New York City? Yes, I am, and I work all over the U.S. My boyfriend of 4 years is here on Este waiver. We decided to get married. How long can he stay? Next steps from Brooklyn. Brooklyn, very good question. And when you enter on Este is it's not really a visa. And there are some risks for persons who are here on Este who marry a U.S. citizen and file for the green card process, because if the green card is denied, then there's no right to a hearing and they could get immediately sent back. So it's a little bit different, and I would say if you want to avoid that risk, then he should go back before his current entry date expires. Usually when you come in on Este, it's 90 days, okay? Of course, every case is different. Some people have, I have been successfully able to get people green cards who entered on Este, but you gotta be very, very careful, okay? But give us a call, Brooklyn, 212-248-7907. I'd be very happy to take a look at the case. Can I get engaged if I have a pending VAWA case from Husam? Very good question. So can you get engaged if you have a pending VAWA case? Here's what I'm going to say. You always need to understand that if you are filing for VAWA, you cannot remarry until after your VAWA is approved. Being engaged is not a legal marriage, but you gotta be very careful, and if it were me, I would even stay far away from that, but obviously engagement is fine, marriage is not, okay? What number can I call to get someone who will answer in Spanish? English con clases. English con clases, todo mi equipo que contestan las teléfonos hablan español, ¿sí? Todo mi equipo habla español y necesita llamar a 212-248-7907. Okay, if you are in need of assistance in Spanish, please understand that my Spanish is not fluent. I have been taking lessons for the past year and a half to learn so I can serve my clients even better. But everyone who works in my office, almost everyone speaks Spanish, so don't be afraid, okay? We actually speak multiple languages in my office. We speak Spanish, we speak Portuguese, we speak Bengali and English, and I believe we also have maybe a couple of dialects from Nigeria as well. Can I travel with advanced parole after VAWA approval with no issue? Can one with VAWA approval stay in the US forever? Is it automatic to get green card when VAWA is approved? Great questions from Moses Arthur. Moses Arthur, if you have advanced parole, you should be able, what I tell people is that if you have advanced parole, whether or not you can travel safely out of the country and come back to the US depends on your case. And I would say that I've never had someone have problems coming back, but anytime that a client has criminal history or some other issues, I would probably advise them to not travel. The second thing is when you have a VAWA approved, you can literally keep renewing your deferred action to keep staying in the US forever, okay? And so it essentially entitles you to stay here when you have VAWA approval and be protected against deportation because you get something called deferred action, and you can keep renewing this every 1 year or 2 years. And is it automatic to get a green card when VAWA is approved? It is not automatic to get a green card. If you file for VAWA, you may have the option of filing for your green card as well. It's a separate application, and it is decided separately. So if the majority of cases that we file are concurrent VAWA and green card applications, because most of our clients are eligible to also get a green card. But first, the VAWA must be approved, and then once the VAWA is approved, the Vermont Service Center will forward your green card application to your local field office so that your local immigration officer can give you an interview on the specifics of your eligibility for a green card. So what happens at the VAWA green card interview? At this VAWA green card interview, there's one thing that is extremely important for all of you to know. The immigration officer is not allowed to ask you about the abuse that you have suffered in your marriage because that is not their jurisdiction, and only the Vermont Service Center can decide that. Now, does that mean that immigration officers don't try to ask? No, of course. Sometimes they try to ask, they're curious, or they have their own doubts, but that's why you need to have an attorney with you at the interview, and that's why I consider it so important to be there with my clients or for them to have a lawyer that I hire. And at the interview, though, they are allowed to ask you questions about your marriage if you have a permanent bar and you are still trying to request a green card and you're trying to make a permanent bar waiver. For this instance, you would have to be able to show some sort of a connection between the abuse that you have suffered in your marriage to your entry into the US or your exit from the US or your deportation from the US. So yes, the officer can ask you some limited questions about why the waiver should be granted. And otherwise, at your VAWA green card interview, you will be asked other questions about your criminal history, your residential history, your work history, and any other factors that the officer may need to ask you about in order to make sure that you're otherwise qualified and eligible to receive residency, okay? Moses, please give us a call, 212-248-7907. I would love to help you through this process. How long does it take to be approved for VAWA? It will take probably about 2 years to 2.5 years, okay? We're seeing a variety of dates right now. Can my 19-year-old daughter apply for a visa for me from Korea? Korea, unfortunately, no. Your daughter, if she's a U.S. citizen, needs to become 21 years old. Only a child who is 21 years old can file a petition for their mother or their father. So if your daughter is 19, just a couple more years, okay? And make sure you keep my number. How long is L1A to green card? I can't answer that question because I don't do that sort of case. You have a question, Bacchus46 has a question, go ahead and put it in. Can a migrant be eligible for asylum? I'm a migrant, I have asylum, and also I'm married with a US citizen. Anyone can be eligible for asylum as long as they can make the case, and if you already have asylum and you married with a US citizen, then you may be eligible to file for a green card application, but it depends on your manner of entry. Hi, Kieran. I got approved for advanced parole. Can I travel abroad? But I applied for VAWA in May. Will you please respond for Kieran? Kieran, hello. So if you have been approved for advanced parole, generally, as I said, if you don't have any criminal history or anything like that, I would say it's generally safe to travel with advanced parole. But always discuss it with your attorney first. Okay, always discuss with your attorney the risk, because when you travel with advanced parole, there's always a possibility that Customs and Border Patrol may not let you in. And we request our clients to always contact us before they leave, so we can go over what to carry, certain documentation to carry, and prepare them for any questions that they may be asked. Do keep in mind that when you travel out of the country and you come back with advanced parole, you will always be taken aside to secondary inspection, which can be a scary experience because the CBP officer will sit you down. Like there could be people in handcuffs sometimes, and they ask you questions. Okay, so the best way is preparation and to talk to your attorney first before you travel. All right, last few questions. Can I petition for my brother even if he has DACA from Luis? Luis, great question. Can you petition for your sibling if they have DACA? And yes, of course you can. And it's actually great. If your sibling got DACA before they turned 18, then they have no unlawful presence as long as they've been maintaining their DACA status. And if you file for your brother, he maintains his DACA and his petition becomes current, he would still need to leave the United States to get his visa. However, he probably doesn't have to do a waiver. Okay, Luis? What's the advantages and disadvantages of an emergency parole document? So a travel document from Nashima Addison. Nashima, these are actually the same thing. So a travel document and an emergency parole document is basically a travel document that you get on the basis of an emergency. So it's still going to be the same thing though at the end. It just depends on how quickly you get one versus the other. The government is giving free green card or to stay in the USA legally. They are not. U.S. immigration law is notoriously complicated and unfair. VD Mac, after a long time live, VD, I've actually been going live, but my lives don't always get pushed to a lot of people. My husband lives in New York also. If in case I have to apply for my immigrant visa, how long will it take? I was denied last April because my medical requirement is incomplete. Thank you. The Global Health and Wellness Aficionado. So if your visa has been denied, you probably have to start parts of it again. And as long as your I-130 is not terminated, then you can you may be eligible to do part of the process. But let's assume Global Health that you have to start all over from scratch. If your spouse is a US citizen, then it's probably going to take you about a year and a half at this point, because the consulates are very, very slow with interviews right now. Call us if you need assistance, okay? 212-248-7907. Hello, Yinka. Hi, how are you, my friend? So nice to see you here. It's really, really good to see you. Thank you, Yinka. Junior, muchas gracias. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to go on live and to let all my colleagues and everyone and my clients and friends see me here. Okay, just a couple more questions. What is the difference in interview questions for the I-360 and the I-485 from Chennai? So I hope you heard my last thing that I just talked about. So for the I-360, the VAWA application, there is no interview. However, the green card, which is the I-485, does have an interview. And during this interview, if you are going for your I-485 green card interview based upon the fact that you have an approved VAWA application, number one, the officer is not allowed to ask about anything that you suffered in your marriage or about the abuse or what you said in your application, unless you are trying to make a permanent bar waiver connection, which is a different story. A lot of people, it doesn't apply to the majority of people. But number two, they'll just ask you the regular security questions, address history, make sure that there's no previous fraud, no previous criminal activity that you didn't disclose, just to make sure that you're eligible to get a green card, okay? Can somebody with withholding of a removal voluntarily leave the USA and return to the USA after 13 years by applying for visitor visa from Ibrahima? A very good question. If you have withholding of removal and you leave the United States, then you would trigger a bar to reentry of about 10 years. If it's been 13 years and you apply for your visit visa and they give it to you and you disclose your previous immigration history, I don't see why not. But it depends on whether you can even get your visit visa in the first place. After the VAWA is approved, how long does it take to get a green card? I would say anywhere from 6 months to about a year. After the prima facie, what is the next thing I should be expecting? And I have my work authorization for 2 years already before putting in for VAWA. So when you already have, when you filed for VAWA and you get your prima facie, the best thing, what you're going to expect is a long wait time of about a year and a half to 2 years to get a decision on the VAWA and then go for your green card, okay? Can you still get PD from Movie Time Studio? Yes. PD, prosecutorial discretion, is not dead. If you have a case in court that you are trying to get terminated, dismissed, or get prosecutorial discretion exercised, it is still available, and we're still getting some cases dismissed by DHS. So yes, it is. Can someone with prima facie file for work authorization while he's in removal proceedings from Sheikh bin Talib? Sheikh bin Talib, it depends on the situation, and we have been able to do it for many of our clients, okay? All right, everyone, and Sheikh, you can give us a call, 212-248-7907. All right, everyone, that's all the time I have for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will go live again as soon as I can. And if you haven't written down my number, write down my number right now, 212-248-7907. Let's see if we can help you with your immigration case. And my name is Moumita Rahman. I wish everyone sincerely a wonderful day. I hope you get to spend it with your families, and don't let things get you down when the world seems so heavy. Just remember that your dreams matter and that you yourself are an amazing person, okay? I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Take care.